time for a December garden tour. It has been ages since I've done one of these. Our garden has been absolute chaos for the last few months. We decided to do a bit of a self-build extension, which has meant that we've just been living in absolute chaos with a lot of materials and a lot of things lying around, because when you do these things yourself, things take time, and yeah, it's just been absolute chaos. But we are over the worst now. We're starting to put the garden back together. We've got a really exciting new addition to the garden, which I will show you. But I thought we can together just whiz around, have a look at what is looking nice in December, and I can chat you through some of the jobs that I've got to do, maybe over the Christmas period. But I'm buzzing with excitement about next year's garden. We've got lots of plans. I've got my fingers crossed that we're going to have a better year of weather. I mean, we can hope, right? So anyway, let's go and have a look at what December looks like in my garden. So here we have it into the courtyard, which is looking, I mean, it looks better now the scaffolding is done. So yeah, this area has been a lot of chaos, but we are getting there. We're putting things back together, a few finishing touches, and then yeah, I will talk to you about what is happening next. But I've kind of got this pond area looking nice again. I kept having to clean the poor fatsia. Yeah, it all got a little bit bedraggled, but we are looking better. I think the pond, the water feature is back working. Put a little Christmas tree up. And yeah, this little area is looking better. This bit of the garden, so this is the statue garden if you are new here, is actually looking pretty green, and there's lots of interest. There's lots of things to look at, which is lovely. The crazy Christmas lights, that's my husband. He wanted to make it look really fun for the kids. Possibly not my taste of Christmas lights, but anyway. Yeah, it's very festive. We definitely are going to have some time over Christmas to have a really good clean up. So we've got a lot of leaves, which actually the leaves have fallen really late this year. So this is all the leaves off of our enormous wisteria, which just goes on forever. But yeah, it's the last of the leaves. So once they get a little bit drier, I think we'll probably get the blower out here and just give it one more clean. I've also got a lot of bulb planting to do out here. I haven't planted a single bulb in these borders yet. Now, I already planted a lot of bulbs out here last year, and I wanted to give it a little bit of time to actually see where some of those bulbs were going to be coming up, because I didn't want to damage any bulbs in the process of this year's planting. And actually, I've definitely left it enough time that I can really clearly see where things are coming up and where I've got gaps, which is really good. I actually decided to take out a lot of the tulips after their display last year because I didn't like the colour or the variety. I went for a lot of white and I just didn't love it. For me, I just love spring colour, and yeah, my idea of white tulips just didn't fill me with joy. So they came out, and we're going again with some different colours. I don't like to plant too many tulips in these borders because the borders are really full with other things. So yeah, not massively heavy on the bulb planting, but still I want to get some in. So that is my goal for the Christmas period, to definitely get the bulbs planted. But other than that, I had a really busy autumn of dividing lots of perennials and moving lots of things around. So I'm pretty happy with where most things are. I've got a few things to move, but I just leave everything. So everything that you see, I'll just leave until the spring, and then I'll give things a cut back. I also actually do think this is an aster here. I do actually think I would like to divide. Oh, look at that ladybird. This is why you must keep your old stems for wildlife. That's just the perfect example, yes, of why you don't need to tidy up your garden, because it's just a home to so much wildlife in the winter. So yeah, stop yourself from cutting things back. It doesn't have to be cut back. Just leave it. It gives you interest. It's something to look at, and it's very beneficial for insects. I thought I just spotted another ladybird then. I didn't. Then down this end, don't even ask me why I've got an old laundry basket full of dead allium seed heads that have blown into the pond. The pond has got a leak because we accidentally punctured it with a sharp piece of metal. So we've got to pull that up and reline it. So that's kind of why I've just like left that there, because we know that's a job we've got to do. But yeah, I definitely need a bit of a tidy up over the Christmas period as well. There's strange things happening in the garden, like this Beni Chidori blossom tree, which is just about to flower. It doesn't normally flower till Feb, but I think it might flower very soon. So yeah, there are definitely strange things going on. I have got a lot of new perennial growth that's come up. It's been pretty mild, and yeah, definitely the garden is quite confused. I've got lots of new like growth on my clematis, which yeah, definitely is earlier than normal. But anyway, these things happen. I've definitely got piles of to-do jobs laying around, like finding homes for these plants. But yeah, with everything with the house, it's just everything kind of got forgotten and we just didn't have the time. But yeah, I had a really, really busy autumn. I divided all these lovely grasses. So yeah, it has been busy and we have done lots, but you know what it's like with a garden, it's never ending. So anyway, let's whiz around to the other garden and I will show you what's going on there. We don't normally have these bins here. I think it must have been bin day yesterday and they just haven't been put away. Since I last did a tour, Ben built us a new edge for this shady border, which needs painting. We're just going to paint that black. We paint everything black. And we will then be replacing that rickety old screening at the top with the slatted effect. It's just got an old trellis with some balcony screening that we put there just for privacy. But when we've got the time, that's what we want to do. Just screen it at the top. We just like it to be super private here. We had a huge big trim up of the hedge and all the wisteria, so that's why there's a bit of rope and it looks a bit bare, but sometimes you just have to do these jobs. But yeah, the wisteria has got buds on, which is crazy. I've got a whole nother video on that, but yeah, we've got very early buds on the wisteria, which does concern me slightly if we get a cold snap, but fingers crossed it will be okay. So anyway, we then come around the side. Now the side looks a bit different since the last time we did a tour, because I did have my conservatory there, which also I used it as a growing space. However, we had mould, damp, slug issue. Everything was just coming through the floor and it was disgusting. So in January, we are going to be building a garden room and documenting the whole process for you and showing you how to do it. I kind of did a little poll on Instagram and discovered that there are a lot of people who have unusable conservatories because they are cold and wet and not usable. And yeah, we've done a big consultation with a building inspector and we are going to be showing you exactly what to do and how you can create a garden room out of timber. So yeah, that's a super exciting project. We can't wait to do that. Our goal is to have it done by the time the wisteria flowers, because we've got all of that lovely wisteria, which will be around the edge of it. So that's our goal. Whether or not we do it, again, when you're doing these things yourself, it takes time. But yeah, just like anyone who has got a conservatory, you will have a base, you'll have a rough base, a rough foundation, some brickwork. So yeah, we're just going to show you the whole process of what you need to do. And then if we look this side, we've got the addition of our lovely new log cabin. A long-term collaboration with Tiger Sheds. So this was a gift, although we did upgrade the doors and windows. And yeah, it's a 12-month working collab with them to show how families can add extra space to their garden. I only actually painted it at the weekend, so it's got coat number 1 on it. And yeah, there's big things happening in this garden for 2025. Adding a cabin is something we had always wanted to do, and actually when we bought this house, there was a cabin already there. So the concrete base was already there because they already had one. And the goal was always to create a family space that we could all enjoy, And as we go into this next phase of our kind of family life with older children, so we've got a couple of them now at secondary school age, creating a space that we can hang out as a family that they can use with their friends. And for me, that means that I get to, think about planting and thinking about how to incorporate into this kind of garden that we've got and how to make it look pretty. So yes, we are extending our gravel here, adding a gravel pathway and a nice bit of gravel in the front of it with some nice soft planting and grasses just to soften it a bit and create a nice view for when we're in there. So yeah, that'll be really nice. And then everything else is just kind of doing its winter thing. And, some things are dormant, some things are going to sleep. There's still a lot of green and a lot of evergreen interest, which I love. 2 greenhouses full of pending jobs. I have replanted this whole border. This is now going to be all hot colours. So this is my hot border for next year. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I have filled it only with plants that I have divided and grown from seed. So it's a bit of an experiment, a bit of a challenge. And I'm really excited actually to see what that's going to be like. Definitely we've got a lot of lawn prep to do in the spring. This lawn has taken a battering because of everything that we've done. But, nothing that a bit of a reseed and a good old feed can't sort out. Container garden. So I have spent a lot of time planning and putting all of this together. So we are now ready. We're in place. There is a lot of bulbs planted. I say a lot. I mean, it is quite a lot, but not as many as I have done previously. And this border along the front here, I have decided to do a little bit differently. And rather than it being so heavy on the bulbs, I've incorporated some things that I've grown from seed and some other perennial plants into it as well, to hopefully give me a bit more variety and just mix it up a bit. So I'm really excited / nervous to see how that comes out. When I experiment with new things, I just always hope that I'm going to love it as much as the previous year's display, but I'm sure I will. I've then also got to get all of that mulched. I've got a big bag of mulch ready to mulch the garden. But for me, that's always like the final thing that goes on once I've done everything. So yes, that is all planted now. Chicken wire's there because I spotted a cheeky squirrel who actually hasn't come back since, which is good. But no, I'm really pleased with that. And then, so everything's in place. And then what happens back end of Feb or early March is all of the pots will come off. We'll then jet wash the whole decking and give it a fresh lick of paint so that by the time everything comes into flower in the spring, it's all fresh and clean and lovely. And I always love that kind of start to spring doing that, but there's no point doing it in the winter when we've got a couple of months of, wet and cold weather. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. And then this area here, I have got a lot of things that I've grown and things that I've propagated, mostly perennials that are just kind of sat in pots waiting for next year really. Yeah, quite a lot of things. Stuff that doesn't need protection but is, just in pots because I might not be sure where it's going to go, or it might be that some of these, when the bulbs are finished, are then going to go in the container garden. So it's kind of just, the waiting area. And then let's have a little look in the greenhouse. Right, then into the greenhouse. I need to take some lids off quickly. Ooh, that's a bit naughty. The only thing that I lid in my greenhouse is my larkspur at night because slugs and snails love them. It's the only thing that they eat, and they literally would devour a whole tray of seedlings like overnight if they were tiny, so I do cover them. But as you can see, my greenhouse is bursting at the seams. This is my absolute winter pride and joy. I can't tell you how much joy it brings me growing things, just having that bit of focus in the winter, just to be able to come out here and have a look at how things are doing. I always talk about the fact that I just love growing. I love the process of growing things, and any flowers that I get are a huge bonus. But for me, it's just this process of growing and nurturing and having all of these plants. And you know, it's like having your own garden centre in the spring, where you've got all this stock of all these lovely plants, and you get to choose where they're going to go in your garden. I don't have space for all these plants, but it gives me options, and that's what I love, that I'm going to have lots of choice of things to plant, and to be creative and put things together and think about what's going to go in containers. And yeah, I just absolutely love this whole process of growing. It brings me huge amounts of joy, and I really, really love it. So there we have it. That is what is going on in the garden at the minute. That is your December garden tour. So lots of things going on, lots of projects. I'm really hoping that period of time between Christmas and New Year, that I will get at least a couple of sessions in the garden where I can really crack on with some jobs. It's the time that we are all off, we're all home, and there is time that the kids want to do their own thing, I want to do my own thing, Ben wants to do his own thing, and I just love that time where we're all at home being busy. And Ben loves garden projects as much as I do, and there's so much we want to do for next year, and it's just really exciting to be planning and thinking about all the lovely things that can happen in the garden for next year. My goal for 2025 for this YouTube channel is to make sure that I at least post, I'm hoping a lot more than once a month, but at a bare minimum, even if I only do you a monthly tour, which isn't going to happen, I'm going to do more than that. I just want to make sure that I document the transition through the next year, because it's just amazing. I document my whole gardening life on Instagram, but I just want to make sure that I do more on here, because I love it. I'm just not very good at committing to things, and I'm really good at the filming. It's just the actual uploading of things. So yeah, that's my goal for 2025, to take you on the journey with me and show you what happens every month and share with you more of what I get up to. Growing a garden, having a garden, sharing this space with my family is just, it's just my favourite thing, and I absolutely love it. If you are at the start of your gardening journey and you want more support and guidance, then I have got an amazing Grow Club community that I built. I have a series of online courses and a Grow Club membership where you can literally have your hand held through the whole gardening year, and I can support you with making a start and teaching you exactly how to garden on a budget, just like I have. So if you're thinking, oh, I really, really want 2025 to be the year that I get in my garden, then come and join us, because we would love to have you. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of what we get up to in my budget family garden.